From Fox 15, News 15 Today starts now.
Good morning and welcome back. You're watching News 15 Today. I'm Alex Worsell.
And I'm Carter Simino. Thanks for tuning in this Monday morning.
Let's start off by getting a check of the weather with Storm Track 15 meteorologist Adam Olivier.
Yeah, Adam, it's been pretty stormy all morning long. It's coming down here at the station.
Yeah, we're seeing that line continuing to push on through. It's kind of building back, what we call a back building, where the storm has already pushed away, but more storms are firing up on the southern side and moving over the same area. So we're watching this because there's still the possibility of some flood concerns if we start to get more of this line kind of training over the same regions. But as it stands right now, this is making a pretty good clip off to the east. Strongest of the storms where we have severe thunderstorm warnings for Iberville Parish now pushing off, including Baton Rouge, as this area, this Bow Echo, continues to work its way along I-10. Basin Bridge getting better, but still pretty rough right now. Give it about 5 more minutes and things will settle down. But there's more again developing back to the west. We go into Lafayette. This is all headed towards Breaux Bridge right now. Youngsville, you're about to get some pretty strong storms. Back to Andrew and Kaplan. We go to the west to Eunice and Iota, getting in on some of this. Kinder, Fenton, down towards Jennings, and then more building into northern Vermilion Parish into Gaydon, as well as Kaplan right now. We're going to keep you up to date on those showers and storms and how long they look to stick around your forecast. Here's a hint, at least for much of this week. More details on that coming up.
Oh, boy.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Adam. We'll continue to get updates from you throughout the hour. Well, the Blue Monday concert series May Concert will pay tribute to the late local musician Minos Derwin today. Special guest, blues guitarist Kenny Neal, will start at 6 and go until 10 p.m. at the Grouse Room. General admissions tickets are $10, but there's also a $20 ticket option, which includes a bundle covering concert entry, premium seating, and the Blue Plate Special. Tickets can be purchased at buytickets.at/loveofpeople.
The new state-of-the-art Lafayette Animal Shelter and Care Center opens today at its new location over on 410 Dugas Road. Bring your furry friends to see all the new amenities, which includes an extra 11,000 square feet, improved kennels, extra surgery tables, and so much more. The shelter is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Also tonight, the Family Tree Center is hosting a webinar for maternal mental health. Now, the Counseling Center hosts free community education webinars on various topics to help serve individuals and families here in Acadiana. But this month focuses on maternal mental health, postpartum depression. The Zoom link can be found on their Facebook page.
Well, a new study says fewer men in the U.S. are getting the coronavirus vaccine shots.
That's right. The University College London says data it's collected in research shows that fewer men are getting the coronavirus vaccine despite having higher death rates than women. Data as of May 3rd showed 38.5% of men vaccinated compared to 43.3% of women.
Some reasons for less men getting the vaccine cited were more women access healthcare systems than men. More men were Republicans and less likely to want the vaccine, and men were less engaged in safety procedures, such as masking and social distancing, than were women. Well, happening this week, the FDA is expected to grant emergency use authorization of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for kids between 12 and 15 years old.
Britt Conway has a look at what parents need to know.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
This week, kids between the ages of 12 and 15 years old could be rolling up their sleeves for a COVID-19 vaccine, as the FDA considers Pfizer's vaccine for that age group. Have questions? These doctors have some answers. Let's start with the size of the trial, about 2,200 kids. Is that enough?
Knowing how effective the vaccine has been in those 16 and older, that gives us reassurance. So we only need to study it and compare
What's being considered?
the safety profile as well as the immune response and most importantly, the efficacy.
So, is it safe?
The efficacy of the vaccine in 12 to 15 years old was essentially 100%, and it was really quite safe.
And doctors say there's no evidence this vaccine will affect development or fertility. When will it be available?
Oh, essentially almost immediately after.
That's because it's the same vaccine, and the possible side effects are the same too. What about kids younger than 12?
You want to do what's called an age de-escalation. We now have it from 12 to 15. Then you work your way downward from 12 to 9 years old, 9 to 6 years old, 6 to 2 years old.
with the hope of being able to vaccinate children of all ages by early next year.
And you're all done.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Events. Well, if and when the FDA gives Pfizer the thumbs up here, then the CDC would have to vote on recommending, and then the director would have to sign off.
That's right. The CDC has an emergency meeting on the books for this Wednesday. A birthday party in Colorado Springs has become the scene of the latest mass shooting in the United States.
That's right. Police say a gunman shot 6 people to death, including his girlfriend and then himself. The mass shooting occurred inside of a trailer at a mobile home park early on Sunday. The dead were all adults.
The party was being held to mark the birthday of one of the victims. Authorities say there were children present, but they were spared. Police are trying to determine what led up to the massacre.
It was Colorado's worst mass shooting since a gunman killed 10 people at a Boulder supermarket on March 22nd. Well, Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit has failed a post-race drug test, and its Hall of Fame trainer Bob Baffert has been indefinitely suspended from Churchill Downs.
During an interview Sunday morning, Baffert said the winning horse tested positive for 21 picograms of betamethasone, 11 picograms above the legal limit in Kentucky racing. Baffert called the drug test results, quote, disturbing and the biggest gut punch in racing for something I didn't do.
The test doesn't automatically disqualify Medina Spirit, as Derby officials await results from another sample to come back before making a decision. But if the findings are upheld, runner-up Mandolian will be declared the winner. Well, the Colonial Pipeline says it has some smaller lines flowing again following Friday's cyber attack, but the main system is still down.
Yeah, on Sunday, the company said it is in the process of restoring the IT systems affected by the hackers. Officials are working to develop a safe restart plan following the ransomware cyber attack.
The Washington Post is reporting a criminal group operating out of Russia called DarkSide. They're saying they're allegedly responsible. The White House, the Department of Energy, the FBI, and the Department of Homeland Security are all working on a coordinated response.
Colonial moves more than 100 million gallons of gasoline and other fuel each day through the massive pipeline from Houston to New York. As one solution, the Department of Transportation is going to allow tanker truck drivers work longer hours to make up for some of the loss.
Well, NASA blasts China for its rocket that caused debris to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere this weekend.
The space agency's administrator and former Senator Bill Nelson released a statement on NASA's website saying, quote, it is clear that China is failing to meet responsible standards regarding their space debris.
Nelson also added that spacefaring nations have to minimize the risk of rocket material and be transparent about operations.
The debris from China's rocket re-entered the Earth's atmosphere over the Arabian Peninsula Saturday evening, according to U.S. Space Command. Well, the death toll from an explosion outside a school in Afghanistan's capital, Kabul, has risen to 58, with at least 150 people injured, Afghan officials said Sunday.
Right, the bombing happened Saturday evening, and it shook one of the city's Shiite Muslim neighborhoods. The community, a religious minority in Afghanistan, has been targeted in the past by ISIS, a Sunni militant group.
The Afghan president blamed the attack on Taliban insurgents, but a spokesman for the Taliban denied involvement, saying the group condemns any attacks on Afghan civilians.
The violence comes a week after remaining U.S. and NATO troops started exiting Afghanistan with a mission to complete the drawdown by September 11th, which will mark the end of America's longest war.
Showers and thunderstorms rolling through the area, and unfortunately there's more storms in the forecast. Details just ahead.
But first, News 15's Al Abair is going to jail.
Oh boy.
Okay, we'll get him to explain what's going on after the break.
We're still at the Java place. There's just a vault here. All right, Al, let's go get set up at that table. Okay, that got your attention. Grab this one. Awesome. Thank you, sir. So where do you want us to be, John? Okay, Mayor, you want to come sit here? Melanie, you want to come sit here? You have what? Right. Oh, she has the graphic. So what was the lady's name again? Can y'all spell her name for it? The one from the museum.
Florella, F-L-O-R-E.
She started the museum?
Well, she's the secretary, historian, archivist of the society.
Okay. I'm just going to put historian, orphan.
The secretary, historian, and
Probably won't be able to
archivist.
get all that in, so I'll
That's
say
okay.
historian, orphan train.
There you go.
Awesome. There we go. Hey, Miss Lena. Did Lena leave? No, there you are. So, Miss Lena, before you leave, I got to book you on the show this week, okay? Got a minute? You want to hang out a little bit? Okay. Yeah, just grab it. Just
I got about 30 seconds.
okay. We don't have to have a chair. Are you okay to stand, Miss Lena?
Welcome back. It is 8:41 and it's also time to check in with Al Hebert, who is spending his week in St. Landry Parish. It's another one of those all expense paid trips.
Yeah,
right?
it's a staycation, and he's spending part of that at Java Square this morning. Wrapping up the day today. Al, what can you tell us?
Hey guys, I got to tell you, if you want to have a good time, you come to Opelousas, hang out, go to the places we've been this morning. A lot of history, a lot of fun. I feel rested. It's been a great day, and I just feel so relaxed. I'm here with our guest, Lena Charles, Melanie LaBeouf, who set this whole thing up this morning. Listen, Carter, make a note. We're going to have to give her an associate producer credit and a little check. And, of course, Mayor Julius Alcindor. Look, Chris in graphics, pull this up. Big shout-out to Miss Florella Inhern, who was the historian at the Orphan Train. We didn't get a chance to get her in, but we definitely want to give her a little shout-out for all the work she does over there. Opelousas, cool place to be, huh, Melanie?
It sure is. We've got some great things for people to come see and do. In addition to the Orphan Train Museum, check out our Olivia Village. We've got the Rural African American Museum, the Creole Heritage Museum, and even just downtown itself is sort of like a museum without walls with all of our historic buildings. And if you're looking for an outdoor activity, that's a good option, as well as our new walking trail, which is located in our South City Park.
And how many of us could use a good walk? I know I could. Lena, real quick, this weekend, remind people where they need to be.
Oh, right here, downtown Opelousas at the Courthouse Square is the place to be. You can give your information and view our master plan for revitalizing Opelousas. And we're excited about that.
I love it. I'm excited too, Mayor. This has been a great morning. I discovered things in Opelousas. I didn't know what all the things that were here. What do you want people to know about Opelousas?
That we have good people that have been speaking to you all morning, and the citizens of Opelousas. Thank you all for coming here. But we're steadily growing, steadily making improvements going forward, and that's our goal and that's our objective, to make sure that Opelousas, when people come through, what they see here is growth and innovation and revitalization, as Ms. Lena and Ms. Mel both indicated to you all. We thank you all for coming here this morning, being with us too, and you're welcome here anytime.
Hey, thanks for having us. A lot of people won't let John and I in. We thank Eva for letting us in this morning. We're pleased about that. Hey, tomorrow we're in Washington. It's going to be a fun day over there. We're going to be here all week in St. Landry Parish discovering cool stuff to be. And I got to tell you, if you live anywhere in Acadiana, this is a day trip. You got to come to Opelousas. A lot of history here. We're going to go back to you guys in the studio because Alex and Corner are making morning show history right now.
Wow, historic. Didn't realize that on a Monday.
He's so very kind. Al, great to see you had such a great day in Opelousas. Excited to see the rest of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have seen quite a stormy start to our Monday. Drive safe, Al and John. Storm Track 15 meteorologist Adam Olivier is tracking more rain chances in the forecast next. 8:44 on your Monday morning.
Always tracking, always alerting. Here's your Storm Track 15 weather.
Welcome back to News 15 today. Wow, it's been a pretty stormy one out there today.
To say the least. We're checking in now with Storm Track 15 meteorologist Adam Olivier for the latest. Adam, what do you have?
Well, are y'all tired of the rain yet?
You know, it did rain the entire 3 days that I was in Canton, so I am, but...
Nah.
Okay, well, because I was going to say I got some bad news for you. We got more of it to go. But if Carter's ready for the rain, then, you know, y'all can blame him. Everybody blame Carter for the bad storms that we have around. We got to take a look at radar right now. We are seeing some big storms. The worst of this pushing off to our east. Man, if you're traveling towards Baton Rouge and then headed towards New Orleans, we got a severe storm right along I-10. Rough weather out there. Started to develop what's called an MCS, a mesoscale convective system, which is a fancy term for a big line of storms with strong winds. And this is going to continue to push down towards New Orleans away from us. But the tail end of this starting to kind of build up and get stronger. We're looking at some very heavy rain here into eastern St. Martin Parish. You can see this is mainly south of I-10. The Basin Bridge is now pretty clear. There's a pocket of heavier rain, but we're watching for some accidents out there. We're also watching some very heavy rain building into Youngsville. Highway 90, rough time out there. Ambassador, where it meets 90, right around Broussard. We're going to be looking at some of this heavy rain, possibly some ponding on the roadways, so take it easy. Lightning and thunder out there. Now downtown, it is cleared out of you. You're by the mall. You're down towards Maurice, Johnston. Everything to the north of that pretty much settled down. A few lightning strikes and rumbles of thunder out there. We have just a splattering of showers throughout the area here into Jeff Davis, Acadia, and northern Vermilion Parish. You go down south to Kaplan, though. That's where some heavier rain is, spreading out towards Florence Landing, and all this headed down south, stretching back into Lake Arthur with a few showers south of Jennings here into Jeff Davis Parish. We're also looking at this pretty intense storm here near Kinder. Now this one we're going to have to watch. It is getting a little bit stronger. It's been popping up here recently, so we may get a warning on this if it continues, but this is also in rain-cooled air, so more than likely this is not going to survive much longer. Some more storms out into Evangeline Parish, but we'll watch those. We're looking at everyone reporting thunderstorms out there except for Morgan City, but again, the worst of this is going to continue to move south towards I-10. Rain-cooled air in the 60s. Otherwise, if you haven't seen the storms yet, you're in the 70s. Our futurecast shows that the lingering effects of this line may try and build some more storms. And I kind of see that being a possibility here through about 11 o'clock. And if we get this line just rebuilding, where we're seeing that heavy rain from Youngsville eastward, that's where we could see some flooding concerns in the next 1 to 2 hours. Beyond that, you miss out on the rain. You saw Abbeville getting to near 80 degrees. I think everybody kind of ends the day in the lower 80s because we lose a lot of that coverage of rain, and that'll allow us, it may not be sun-filled out there at all, but it should allow our temperatures to jump up into the lower 80s very briefly. Flood potential for today, well, it's pretty high out there, especially, say, from Ville Platte, a line from Ville Platte down towards, say, Abbeville, Lafayette, eastward. That's where we're seeing that line kind of just hanging out. High temperatures today, again, in the lower 80s to near those mid-80s at times if you see some sunlight. But the rain and showers and storms, they continue. By Wednesday, we're looking at another flood potential out there. We'll have more on that, but in the meantime, we'll see you right back after this break.
I said, wow, thank you so much. Welcome back. I don't know about you, Carter, but we could probably use a glass of wine right now on this rainy Monday morning. But there are famous winemaking regions in the United States and all around the world, and Americans appear to be keeping the winemakers busy.
An annual report by the International Organization of Vine and Wine, didn't know that was a thing. They say wine lovers worldwide drank more than 6 billion gallons of wine last year.
A lot. Of that, Americans consumed 872 million gallons of their favorite vinos. That put the U.S. in the top spot for wine consumption.
When it comes to which country consumes the most wine per person, Portugal tops the list, with the Portuguese throwing back an average of 16 gallons of wine per person per year.
The average American drinks a little more than 3 gallons of wine each year.
That is a lot of wine.
It is a lot of wine, but like I said,
America, #1, baby. Americans are taking to the skies again.
Yes.
The Transportation Security Administration says on Friday a record 1.7 million travelers were screened at security checkpoints in airports around the country.
The TSA says they broke a record that had been set on Thursday when a little more than 1.6 million passengers went through security at airline terminals.
Thursday has been the busiest day for air travel since March of last year, when the coronavirus lockdowns first began.
Nonetheless, air travel is not yet anywhere near the typical level seen before COVID-19 brought so many airlines to a standstill.
You just flew to Ohio.
I did on Thursday, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. I am fine with forever wearing masks on airplanes. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I might forever.
They're kind of gross. Well, with summer fast approaching, you might be looking forward to making those tasty s'mores around the campfire.
So excited for this. Well, you don't have to wait because Flips has come out with new s'mores covered pretzels. So the pretzels are coated with milk chocolate. Then there is cinnamon and sugar mixed in. Of course, marshmallow drizzled on as well.
I am drooling. While the snack does not include graham crackers, the cinnamon is there to make up for it. The treat is on store shelves now. I suggest you don't go buy any of these.
Oh, no, those would
wouldn't make it out the store.
Jace has a midnight eating snack problem. Those would be gone by the time we woke up. Yes.
That's not a problem. That's a solution.
Okay.
The man's hungry.
Well, we're checking in with Adam Olivier coming up after the break. He's tracking the latest in this very rainy Monday morning. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Some news before you go. A Breaux Bridge man is in police custody for the death of an infant found in a car near the Intracoastal Bridge over the weekend.
That's right. Broussard police arrested and charged 53-year-old Irvin Melanson with second-degree murder on Sunday, a day after the body was discovered.
Sheriff Blaze Smith confirms detectives were responding to reports of a suspicious vehicle Saturday afternoon when they found the infant. A cause of death has yet to be determined.
The child's exact age and relationship to Melanson were not given, but Melanson is booked into the St. Mary Parish Law Enforcement Center. No bail has been set.
And one final look at radar shows that the worst of this moving off to our east, but still some heavy rain to track, especially into St. Martin Parish. Look at this now, moving towards Parks and Bankers. It's in St. Martinville, Laurelville, down stretching to New Iberia. We'll continue to track these showers and storms, and not only today, but at least through the middle of the week. More details coming up at noon.
Okay, well, our coverage again continues at noon on KLAF and anytime on our website, kadn.com.
We'll be back here bright and early from 5 a.m. to 9 tomorrow. Until then, have a great day, Acadiana, and stay safe. I teased it.
Start your Tuesday morning off with us right here on News 15 Today. Al Hebert continuing his tour through St. Landry Parish tomorrow.